The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Greetings to all of our viewers out there. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to our show entitled Easton 300. This is a great opportunity, folks, for everyone out there watching to learn about our plans as we prepare for the 300th anniversary for the town of Easton, Massachusetts. How lucky we are to be able to organize a year-round celebration. I'm Dave Clifton.
I'm Michelle McGee,
and
your
of course
Tricentennial Vice Chair.
And we're co-chairing this particular event, which is a once-a-month TV show. We're going to do this even through 2025. We want to be able to let the viewing audience know how important it is for us to recruit volunteers, and at the same time, we're looking for folks out there that like to donate to the cause, because it takes volunteers that surround us as well as funds to make it possible. Michelle, why don't you introduce our guest?
Excellent. So today we are talking about community relations on Easton 300. So we have our community relations chair with us today, who's also on the Tricentennial Committee. That's Dale Kerester to my right. But a big part of the Easton community is also ECAT. We want to thank ECAT for hosting our show and for all that they do for the Easton community. So we have Pincus with us as well today from Easton Community Access Television.
This is a great opportunity for us to thank a guy like Dale Kerester because of all the good things he does here in the Easton community. You see him everywhere, not just at town meeting speaking, but he seems to have a grasp on what the needs are in the community. And I saw him firsthand when he was involved in the sewer project. And we are forever grateful to you, Dale, for the good things that you do here in the town.
Thank you for the kind words, much appreciated.
And I'd also like to pass some kind words over to Pincus. I know that it seems like a 24-hour day job because of all the events that ECAT covers. This show today, Easton 300, is a production of ECAT, Easton Community Access Television. Thanks again for all the good things you and your staff do to make it possible, and hats off to your board of directors as well.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for the kind words, and thank you for having me on.
And of course, we're talking about public relations. How important that is, Michelle, when we chose our guest today. We have to make sure that we promote the events that are taking place, and to let the people out there in the community know what's going on. And I know that Kim, who works here at ECAT, public relations is a top priority to you, getting the word out on all the shows. You must have hundreds and hundreds of events that take place, including all the town meetings that go on for every committee in town. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we cover most of the boards and committee meetings in town. We recently redid Town Hall, and Simmons, which is where school committee is, so you'll hear much better audio than you used to hear, and we're really glad that we get to let the community know what's going on in their town. I think that's important.
How important that is. I also wanted to thank you, Michelle McGee, for all the good things that you have done. You're a barrel of energy, and there are some times when you move so fast that I have to jog to catch up to you. The fact is that the committee appreciates it, and of course I'm sure the town does as well. We have some questions we want to ask Dale when it comes to public relations. That's the role he plays on the Tricentennial Committee.
Yeah, more specifically, community liaison and engagement with the community. Just on a personal aside, I first moved to Easton in 1993, and one of the first things that I did was purchase the Reverend Clifton's book, The History of Easton, that was written sometime in the 1870s or 1880s, and probably one of the only people in town who actually read it cover to cover. But
Ed Hands may have read it.
Ed has as well. That's right, and I think he's written a supplement to it and so forth. And one of the other things I did was to go to a presentation that actually Ed gave over at the Oaks Ames Hall about the history of the streetcars in Easton. So I've always been fascinated with the history of Easton, and I've always felt a deep connection. I moved here from the Cleveland area, and by getting involved in the various community things, it's allowed me to sort of get my roots into the town. I've been a longtime member of the Lions Club, joined in about 2004, active with Boy Scouts, and been involved in a number of other activities. And one of the nice things about the tricentennial celebration is that this is something that we all can participate in. We're all in the same boat, and when you talk to folks around town, you'll see that everybody is extraordinarily enthusiastic about the celebration coming up. What we're hopeful to do is we've started to get the word out, in large part to what Dave, what you have been doing, and what Michelle has been doing, by having tables out at the sheep pasture for the NRT fair, at town meeting, and you've already had a few of the open houses to start getting the word out. And going forward, we're really going to be ramping up in 2024. And I see my principal responsibility is to engage with the other community organizations in town, whether that be the churches, the synagogues, the Lions Club, We Do Care, House of Possibilities. We have so many fantastic organizations with so many fantastic folks in town. And I think this is something we can all get behind as we move forward to celebrate our 300th year.
I think it's terrific that you have that responsibility. You're the right guy for the right job, and we certainly appreciate your efforts. I know there are folks out there in the town that I've approached, whether it be in regards to fundraising. Nobody has said no. I think it's more of a question is how much can they afford to participate in the celebration. We have what we call signature events. We have 8 signature events that'll take place on 6 different days. Not all behind each other or close to each other, but they're scattered throughout the year. This is going to be a celebration, folks. It'll be for people of all ages. And it's going to be a year-round celebration. This is an opportunity for all the other organizations in town that run annual events. We're asking them to kind of beef up their events during the 300th anniversary. This is not a small celebration, folks. We're talking about 300 years. It's a celebration of the history here in the town of Easton, Massachusetts. And I know that Michelle, and all the work and the planning that we're doing, things are starting to come together. It's only a little thing, but I'm meeting with the fireworks company on Saturday morning.
That's not a little thing.
That's
a big thing.
It's really going to be a giant thing. But,
explosive thing, I think. One might even say.
When I said a little, I was really talking about one of many meetings.
Yes, I know.
That comes up. And we're going to meet with a few fireworks companies just to get their perspective. It has been decided that the fireworks, the picnic, and a band concert will take place at the Governor Ames Estate, not too far here from the
right here.
TV studio. So folks, we want you to get ready. 2024 is around the corner, not too far away. Here we have Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, the holidays, and bingo, January 1st, 2024 is here.
That's when we're on the countdown.
You must be feeling a lot of excitement.
I am so excited about this.
Tell us about
so I don't sleep much.
what it's like planning it and talking to people and having all these meetings that we've had with various groups in town.
So this is a great question because this really deals straight with community relations, which is what we're talking about today. So it is so exciting to talk to everyone about this. So we had one open house already back in October. We had it at Frothingham Hall, and we had a nice little turnout. And you can watch that open house right here on ECAT. When I walked into the studio today, there I was on screen. But there was a nice little piece that Dave spoke about, a nice little piece that Ken Michael spoke about. Ken Michael is our business relations chair on the Tricentennial Committee and also the president of the Easton Historical Society. He's on our committee as well. And so just speaking to people about what's coming up, it is really exciting. We are also running a logo contest, and we have had many submissions from the Easton Public Schools. So kids are talking about this anniversary. I got an email from an art teacher at the Easton Middle School asking if I would mind coming by and picking up 75 entries into the logo contest. When I responded, I said, we'd be happy to come in and speak to the kids about the upcoming celebration. And she said, that would be great for 2024. They'd love to do that. The kids are very excited about their town's birthday. And I thought that is such a nice thing to hear. One of the other things that is really cool when you go out into the community and talk to the community about it, and this happened at the last open house as well, is someone came up to me and said, I remember the 250th. So there was a 275th celebration, but he said, I remember the 250th. He was a kid at the time, under 10 years old. So I said, what do you remember most? Because this is what we're going to want to do, right? And he said, I remember a huge parade and being involved in that parade. And also, that he got to sit in some kind of old-fashioned car. So yeah, very exciting about that. Speaking to everyone about it is really exciting. Today, I had a conversation with the director of marketing and operations for the Ames Company. So Ames Global, the Ames Company started here in 1774. And I was lucky enough to speak with Karen Richwine, who's the director of marketing and operations. They are turning 250 next year. So they are planning a huge celebration next year. So we're going to work hand in hand to work with the Ames Company, which, was started here. Karen has worked for that company for 30 years. She's never even been here. So we're planning some visits by some execs to come out. I said perhaps they can bring, some shovels with them, but
seems like a potential sponsor to me.
That was definitely on the agenda as well. Yes, shovels are. This is a really great connection. The Ames Company has been long time supporters of garden clubs. And we have a wonderful garden club here in Easton that runs the Festival of Trees that's going on right now. And they give grants to garden clubs. They merged with 3 major landscaping companies back around the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And Ames now is pretty much the leader in landscaping. And I think it's going to be a great opportunity to connect our garden club, the Easton Garden Club, with the Ames Company, who is so supportive of garden clubs. So I think there's a lot of great opportunities there. And that's just one meeting. We have meetings all the time with local businesses. But, turning back to ECAT for a moment, I wanted to ask you, Kim, can you tell us a little bit about the structure of ECAT for people who don't know? How did it start? How did you end up in this building? And what is it that you really? What's your mission? What's your vision?
So we started here more than 10 years ago. We've stayed in this building, which has been great for us. We have our main studio here, which we're in right now. We have a smaller podcast studio. We have 4 channels. We started with the 3, but we did manage to get an HD channel,
That's awesome.
Which is great, yeah.
And what's your role here?
So I'm the executive director. I do day-to-day operations, putting the budget together, managing staff,
And
that
you
sort of
answer
thing.
to a board.
Yep,
that's
to a board of
appointed.
directors. We
Yeah.
have a great board of directors, and actually two of the members, our chair and our treasurer, are both founding members.
Wonderful.
Oh.
This would be a good opportunity to thank some of your full-time people that work
Yeah,
here.
we have a great staff.
You do.
Adam is doing the production right now, Adam Carrero,
Mhm.
and he's been great. He's been here full time a little over a year, and Joe Bowerman has been here for a number of years now, and he's great too. And
He is.
if you're at all involved in town government, I'm sure you've met him. So.
Yep.
Terrific
And
crew,
Ben's
no doubt
great,
about
and
it.
Jack's great. Yep.
Yep.
You have 2 Jacks, right?
We have 2 Jacks, 2 Joes, 2 Adams. There's a lot of repeat names,
Yes.
but they're all great people.
Yes.
The
you
magic
can't really go
letter
wrong.
is J, I guess.
Apparently so.
You know, I'd like to also thank Mike Good, who handles marketing and communications for our committee. And Courtney Popkin, she is the person that handles fundraising sponsorships. And I think that's important. And Michelle, you're handling fundraising events that'll be planned. And we ask the community to please join us at these fundraising events. We need to raise the money to make the celebration work.
They will be fun, though, fundraisers. Fun.
It's the first 3 letters of that word.
Putting fun in
fundraising.
fundraiser.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Absolutely.
Tell us your feelings, if you would, Dale. You are an attorney, you got your own full-time job, and yet you find time for all these things, and especially the celebration. I said to Michelle, who's vice chair of the committee, that at some point in time, we're going to have lots of fun as we get closer and closer and get things organized.
You're saying you're not
hold you
having
to
fun
that.
yet? You know?
Well, it's all work right now.
Okay.
And the
And I'm
planning
going to hold him to
and the
that,
meetings.
that promise of fun.
The fact is that it's a giant celebration. It's we're talking thousands of people attending each event,
Mm-hmm.
and we're talking about 8 signature events that Michelle and I are going to cover. But we're going to take a short break to listen to some and watch some public service announcements about the town of Easton. Hurry back, folks. Welcome to Service Matters, a weekly radio show that talks about the good things that are happening in local communities and beyond.
Since 1978, the Easton Food Pantry has been dedicated to providing food to our neighbors in times of need. As long as there's hungry people in our community, our doors are open, our hearts will be open to help.
We also like to talk about the good things that people do to make a difference, and in many cases, to make dreams real for folks out there in need.
Just to chat about, as you say, some of the good things in life. There's some of the good things, the great things, and the happy things.
And certainly watch us on ECAT, Easton Community Access Television.
Hi there, I'm Gail Devins, and join me as we discover all the businesses that made Easton great. This is a wonderful, wonderful place. I cannot wait. I want to do it. I want to go there. I am definitely coming back, and I know you will too, because I'm telling you something. It is absolutely amazing in here. What a wonderful way to discover Easton. It's right here in Easton. Showing at noon on Mondays, 2 p.m. on Tuesdays, and 11 a.m. on Fridays, only on ECAT.
In 2023, Easton is a tight-knit community of 25,000 people. But with the hustle and bustle of modern life, it's easy to forget our past. A time when Easton's population was 6,000.
Everybody knew who everybody And
everybody was.
And there was respect.
There was respect for everyone.
When kids enjoyed great freedom and independence.
Everybody was poor at today's standards, but we all were in the same boat and we enjoyed life.
So join me, Priscilla Almquist Olsen, as I explore what makes Easton so very special with some of its lifetime residents.
I think Easton has so much to offer, and if you're living in a community, you have to know it.
Watch Growing Up in Easton Tuesdays at 7 p.m. and Friday at 9 p.m. See you then.
There's a storm.
Join me, Priscilla Almquist Olsen, to explore the town of Easton and its interesting, engaging, ordinary, and extraordinary people, and meet a smorgasbord of guests, including artists, authors, musicians, business owners, community organizations, clergy, local leaders, etc., etc., etc. Community Forum at 3 p.m. on Thursdays and 1:30 p.m. on Saturdays. See you then.
Hello, welcome to Easton News. I'm Abby Kitchenham.
And I'm Jack Ryan, and together we bring you everything you need to know about Easton, including politics.
The annual town election is scheduled for Saturday, April 22nd, 2023.
Community events.
Be Inspired, Counseling Presents a Parent and Child Coping Workshop centered around a new year and new beginnings.
And sports.
Pressure builds diamonds, so we live by that every day of practice, going into every game.
With APCSM guest segment Pet of the Week.
Hi, I'm Katie with the Animal Protection Center, and today we have a little Iris.
With help from special correspondent Wyatt Fain. Join us
for Easton News.
Playing 6 o'clock Friday, Saturday, and Sundays.
Welcome back to another segment of Easton 300. And again, as I said earlier, it's an opportunity for the folks out there that are watching community television to get a pretty good idea about what's happening with our celebration. And right now we have another guest. Michelle, I'm going to give you the opportunity to introduce Steve Shaw.
Yeah, introduce who?
Steve Shaw.
Yes. Well, that's okay that you gave out his name, because what's more important is Steve is the commander of the VFW post here in Easton. What post number is that, Steve?
2547.
2547.
Yeah.
And he is on today because, first of all, he's an important part of this community, and this is about community relations. But also, we are having an open house, the Tricentennial Committee, and the VFW has graciously offered to be our host of that open house. So it is going to be on December 12th, which is a Tuesday night, from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the post, Steve? So,
well, VFW, there's been a VFW in Easton about 90 years now.
90 years.
90 years. It hasn't always been that building. Because
Okay.
that used to be an old schoolhouse, and I think in the 60s they bought it and they added to it, but it used to be an old Quanticut schoolhouse.
Okay.
In fact, a couple of people stop in there said, I used to go to this school.
That's so cool.
So yeah. So, we have about just under 100 members total. They've made a lot of improvements. We went through a tough time about right before COVID. The place went up for sale, but we resurrected it, and it's doing well now.
That's
Thanks
wonderful.
to all the blood, sweat, and tears of volunteers, really.
Well, congratulations.
That's what really does, it's the volunteers. And so I have to give them all the credit. That's really where it comes from. So, things are looking up, and we're looking forward to hosting and doing more things for the town of Easton. I let the league coaches meet there, or the football coaches. I don't charge for anything. Just a place where they can meet and, have a place at night where they can just
Terrific.
say, okay, yeah. It's just part of the community. I mean, every soldier went because of his community. He loved his community, so he served his country. And he did it for his community and what he thought about his community in America. So we don't mind giving back to the town. I mean, it's Easton's VFW. I keep saying it's not a VFW, it's Easton's VFW. It's
That
not
is
our VFW.
Such a
it's
nice
Easton's.
way to look at it.
So the family serves with every soldier that goes. So it's Easton's VFW, and everybody's welcome.
And again,
It's
we
not
remind our viewing audience that there will be an open house hosted by the VFW, the Easton VFW. And we invite folks out there that are watching to save that date. and the time, because we'd like to have you come and join us. There'll be pass-out material, there'll be light refreshments, and an opportunity for you to learn about a year-round celebration in 2025. That is a magic year as far as I'm concerned. I say that because I know I won't be there for the 350th. The fact is that the 300th anniversary of the town of Easton, I know that the select board that appointed our committee, Michelle, is excited about this celebration that will take place. And I know, Dale, you're excited about it, and we thank you for squeezing in the time and your talent to be part of this committee.
I'm always happy to help. And if I understand correctly, December 12th for the next open house. Is that right?
That's right. It's
Okay.
a Tuesday night, again, at the VFW. What's the address of the VFW?
61 Rockland Street.
Okay.
That's the going address these days. There's about 3 different addresses for that corner.
You are on
you
a
know?
corner.
Yeah, we are on that corner, and it does confuse people. But yeah, it's 61 Rockland Street.
It is.
On the
So,
corner of
but-
Allen Road and Rockland Street.
But I know when I give the location of the VFW and when most people give it, what do they normally say?
Where the tank is.
Where the tank is. That's right. That's a good, you got it right.
Well, the only
Tank.
place in town that has a tank in front. So.
That's right. That's right.
You
It's the
know?
building with the tank.
Building with the
yes,
tank.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right. So we are, those light refreshments that Dave was talking about, they are also being donated by the VFW. Any clue on what we'll be having to eat that evening?
I'm sure if I know Emily, it'd be a pasta dish or something.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Yes.
so everybody can just help themselves and eat as much as they want.
That's
you know what I mean? You know,
awesome.
because it'll be that type of a
Terrific.
help yourselves. You know, we're all soldiers. Help yourselves. Fill your plate. Go sit down and enjoy it. You know?
There you
So,
go.
yeah.
So at our last open house, we had people come in and we had these posters around the room. We have 8 signature events in 2025, and we should probably go through what those are.
Let's do that. I'll kick it off with the first day celebration. What a way to start the celebration off by doing something special on January 1st. It's not a first night celebration, it's a first day. And there will be activities that'll take place at the school facilities. And right now we're trying to plan and prepare, if possible, to have a laser light show during the early evening hours because we know it's a school night. But what a great way to start the celebration by doing something right off the bat on January 1st, and that's going to be the day that we're going to ring all the church bells in town. The next event, of course, is the Art Festival.
Yes, so in April, Patriots Day weekend, which that year I believe is April 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We're going to have an arts and culture festival, and we are hoping on Friday night to do something very family-oriented, like some kind of talent show or a comedy show or music show. On Saturday, we're going to gear it towards the kids, and we are hoping to have some free art lessons, music lessons, but also thinking about art in different ways. Art can be cooking, art can be music, it can be theater. So we would like to cover kind of the whole artisan community on that. On Sunday, we're hoping to have a theater production of some kind of historical play or musical. And Monday will be an artisan festival. And we have paired with Langwater Farm to do that Patriots Day of that year. Langwater Farm is graciously hosting that event that day that year. And they have some really cool things planned as far as we want to incorporate the fact that Easton is has deep roots agriculturally. So they are going to be doing some interesting things with maybe honey and bees and planting and things like that.
Interesting, whenever I go by Langwater, there's always cars there. There's always something going on. The next event, as you can see the poster behind me, is the giant parade that'll take place.
But there's one before that.
Actually, I
Yeah.
forgot about the
It's to your
fireworks. Yes, the fireworks. There'll be a picnic, and there'll also be a band concert from 7 to 9 p.m.
And when's that?
And that's going to be on June 14th. That happens to be Flag Day.
And it's a Saturday that year.
Yeah, and what a great way to salute the red, white, and blue, the American flag. To have the fireworks go off at 9 p.m. We already have decided on the site, and we thank the governor estate, Governor Ames' estate, and it'll take place, the fireworks, at 9 p.m. And we expect a huge crowd to participate. We're going to be busing people into the site in order to accommodate folks with parking. This is going to be a terrific fireworks display, and of course it's something that you want to see. It's not too often that we see fireworks in the town of Easton, although they have the 100th anniversary over at Stonehill College.
75th.
Yeah, 75th.
They still haven't had those fireworks, unfortunately.
Yeah, so we're hoping that folks will save that date, June 14th, Flag Day. Now let's talk about the parade.
Okay, that's on July 4th.
That's right.
Right. And we have an awesome parade coordinator. It was the Veterans Day Parade Marshal this past Veterans Day, Corey Ahonen.
And of course, there'll be a bonfire that'll come up on Columbus Day weekend. Don't have the date on the top of my head, but
October 11th. It's
yeah,
the Saturday of that weekend. Yep.
And again, most of them are on Saturdays, so it gives the folks in town some time off from work to enjoy the celebration. This is going to be a great family gathering for people who live in the community. I have heard from some people that certain events they're going away, but we want to make sure we provide this celebration for all the folks who will still be in town. And of course, the final event that Michelle and I will be co-chairing will be the anniversary gala. It's going to be held at Stonehill College, and we thank Father John, the president of the college, for giving us permission to use the site. And I know that it's going to be time we're going to roll out the red carpet. We're going to put the blinking lights up. You feel like you're going into Hollywood, but you're not, folks. You'll be going into Easton, Massachusetts. And wanted to ask you, Dale, have you got your tickets yet for the Gala Ball?
I didn't know, are they available?
No, they're not.
Count me in, all right, in any
Okay.
event. Okay. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything here.
But I think we should also thank, Michelle, the coordinators that have signed up to lead different events.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. And one of the major reasons to thank them is that we still need a couple more, don't we, Dave?
We certainly do, and we're working on that.
Yes. So our first day event is, we have two great coordinators. It is Amanda Hurley and Anne Marie Taylor. We actually did an Easton Public Schools tour with Facilities Director David Twombly today. Thank you, David, for that great tour. What beautiful schools we have here in Easton. So the first day event will take place on the Easton Public Schools campuses. It'll be indoor and outdoor. And no, I mean, today is November 16th and it's probably close to 70 degrees today. So let's hope for a very nice January 1st, but it will be somewhat indoor and outdoor. For the Arts Festival weekend, we are looking for coordinators. And there's a lot of arts that goes on here in Easton, so we're looking for some people to come forward.
A lot of artists that live in town, certainly give us a call, folks. We'd like to open up the door and fill these slots. Michelle and I, we've talked many times, we're as good as the people we surround ourselves with. It's going to take lots of volunteers to provide the support needed. For instance, 25 people just to run a parade, and Corey needs that help and support. All the coordinators are going to be looking for people to step up and to do what they can. And I know that there's a lot of people in town that haven't said no, but the sooner we get you on board, the sooner we can continue with our planning.
So we should ask you, Dale, what are your plans for getting people on board?
So I'm glad you asked that question, Michelle. So this is actually a good segue to talk a little bit about how we're engaging with the community. And among other things, we are having the open house for community service organizations, which, as I understand, we're going to be scheduling for Saturday, January 20th at the Knights of Columbus. It'll be a Saturday morning, and we'll have coffee and donuts because we know donuts are always a good way to get us all out there. It works for me.
Can I come by, Dale, just for the coffee and donuts?
No,
well,
you
might
have to come by and sign up to do something.
and you have to stay there, right? So what we're going to be doing, we'll be reaching out to the various community organizations in early January to get the word out about how they can help. It's not support necessarily the committee, but it's to help celebrate Easton's 300th with the rest of us. And it's not only to help the activities that we've already had scheduled with the signature activities, but what we're really looking to do is have a grassroots efforts where the various community organizations look at this as a great opportunity to tie in with something that they may already have scheduled as an annual event, or something that they may wish to do going forward to tie into the Easton 300. And so for those folks who are out there, please keep an eye out for our messaging so that you can help come attend the open house on January 20th. And for those folks who are looking for more information, it's easton300.org.
Right.
And we will be reaching out to the various organizations, so the churches and synagogues and the various community service organizations, and we have many of them in town. And we're all in the same boat on this. This is something where we can all come together to help celebrate our history. And what we're looking to do is have all of those organizations do it in their own way. And so we can be supportive of the efforts of those community organizations as they're planning their activities. How can they tie in? How can they become part of our calendar that we have for the various celebration activities during the year? And then the following month, likely sometime in February, Ken Michael, who's one of the Tricentennial Committee members, will be sponsoring a separate open house directed towards businesses.
That's right.
So,
because there's room for everybody here. So, I think that's what you're saying when you're talking about community organizations. It isn't, just organizations. It is businesses too. There'll be a different open house because there'll be probably a different spin on that. But we have organizations in town that already run very successful events. So we'll be reaching out to them. But I think it's a good opportunity too, that if you have a small organization, board, committee, perhaps there's something you've been wanting to launch. And this would be a great year to work in conjunction with the Tricentennial Committee to get that launched. The Tricentennial Committee ends on December 27th. Are we going until the 31st? I don't know, of 2025. But that doesn't mean that, we're going to have a town picnic, we're going to have fireworks, we're going to have these things. But it's a one-off deal. So if the town picnic's hugely successful and somebody wants to kind of take that on,
we certainly would welcome all the help that we can get. As you can tell from the list of the activities and the magnitude of those activities, we're going to need all the help we can get. And the more folks that we have involved, the better. And again, sort of more of a grassroots effort where folks can contribute and come up with different activities, different ideas. And again, it's something we can all come behind in terms of celebrating. We have a wonderful town here, and it's a great opportunity to celebrate not only the history, but what it is to be, to be living in Easton.
Right, and
well said.
And we welcome new ideas too. We have a lot of them, but we recently received an email from a woman in town who put together. She is involved at the Trinity Lutheran Church, and she has some letters from World War II. There was an effort by members of the Trinity Church in World War II to write to soldiers and reach out. And of course, at that time, it was no electronic devices, to just write blankly to soldiers. And those soldiers wrote back.
Terrific. I have that book from Elaine.
Elaine's
I'm going to share with the committee.
What she would like to do is, she would like to, in 2025, she'd like to make that into a play. So she would like to get some actual soldiers to kind of be in the field, and have some actors be the writers at the church. And she is looking for some support from us to help make this into a play. And so these are the great ideas that are just coming through email from the community. That's easton300@outlook.com if you need an email for that. But there's been several emails like that of, hey, I have an idea. This is exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah, we welcome the community to make suggestions, especially at this time as we plan and prepare for 2025. Just a reminder about the parade. The parade will go the full length of Center Street. It'll start at the monument, and it's going to end on Main Street with a block party, chance for the participants in the parade as well as the folks that are watching to come together and to enjoy a little celebration in the center of town. So we're excited about that. And of course, volunteers are so important. Dale, you mentioned that. I couldn't agree with you more. That I think it was Gandhi who once said, and I quote, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of helping others." That's what organizations do in the town of Easton. That's what the VFW does, as well as KSC and the Lions Club. That's their motto, Lions we serve. So that word serve is a magic number. And we can't thank the veterans and the folks out there in the Easton community that serve above and beyond the call of duty in our armed forces. And of course, we just completed Veterans Day. It was a chance for us to say thank you to the men and women who have stepped up to protect our country. And believe me, I don't have to say this loud, but the world's gotten a little crazy. And I think we in the town of Easton want to make sure that things are positive. We want to make sure that we can bring families together to celebrate the history of the town of Easton. The VFW, you folks have hosted many events. I know for a number of years you hosted the Lions Club.
That's right.
That's right.
Every time I went by, I not only saw the tank, but I saw plenty of cars there.
Yeah, we used to have the Lions used to be there. We have a small tanker group that meets there, but the Marines used to meet there too. That organization, but so everybody they used it on a different night of the week or something like that to use it.
Does that tank still work?
No.
I wanted to borrow it.
You can't
to
have
take
a
my
ride.
wife out to dinner.
No, I knew what the next question was.
Can you get inside of it?
Well, we've got it so you can't because we had to.
See,
But
now
you can.
This is something interesting, maybe
Safety
for
precaution.
2025.
We had a
Maybe
tech
you
weld it.
will do maybe some, maybe 4 times in 2025 or something. You can, have a guided tour of what the inside looks like. Or
Right
something
now, we're
like
trying
that.
to build a museum downstairs also
We-
inside the VFW with a lot of the World War I and World War II stuff from the veterans in Easton. And we just painted the room and things like that downstairs to refix it up because it was a room like that a long time ago, but it needed repair. So we fixed a lot of it up and we're working on it now, putting display cases in and things like that. So there's a lot of memorabilia there from a lot of the guys that were in Easton and kept that place alive for the last 50, 60, 70 years.
Yeah.
That they, a lot of their things they donated. And so we want to display some of that,
Yeah.
so that we can take the tour. We do have the high school history class comes there a couple times a year, and the teacher brings them to see some of the stuff that
That's
we have.
wonderful.
And we have a couple of veterans there to talk about their experiences.
And one of the things I like most about Easton itself and sort of this celebration activity is the extent to which all the different organizations and the folks in our community connect together. You have this web of folks working. So as a member of the Lions, we've had the privilege of attending many meetings over at the VFW and love to be able to come back. I know, when you guys were considering selling, to look for a different option. And we, as Lions, had the honor of being able to celebrate our veterans this past celebration of Easton in May.
Yes.
And, it was a wonderful event, and finding that, going back to some of the other Lions activities, when we used to have the live in-person auction, we would have the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Daisies, the Brownies working with us gray-haired Lions, and we would have the high school kids, the parents of the high school kids. And I see this celebration of the 300th anniversary as yet another opportunity where we all can come together on something and celebrate together. So really looking forward to that opportunity.
That was our goal that the select board gave us, is to try to bring the community together. We wanted to remind our viewing audience that there will be an anniversary book. There'll be a cookbook. And of course, we hope to present a gift to the town at the end of the celebration, at the end of 2025. So I'm excited, folks, and I know our committee board members are all excited. and we hope that you too will get excited. Get your family ready, plan a float. Maybe you'd like to have close off your street at some point and
block party.
Have a block party.
Yep.
To celebrate the history of the town of Easton.
Oh, I'd like to close off 106 just so I can get out of my driveway.
That'll work.
I'm like near the school, so at certain times of the day, it's like, okay, I'm not even going to go home yet. I can't get there. I have to wait. So yeah.
So do you have any idea, Dale, of what you'll be eating at your block party? Hot dogs and hamburgers?
I eat everything, yeah, and there probably will be some donuts regardless of the time of day.
It does. This is a good question, though. One of the things we've been talking about is that, when we were young, we went to a neighborhood school. We lived in a neighborhood. We knew what neighborhood we lived in, and good, bad, or indifferent, we now have school campuses where they, efficiently share school buses and utilities, but kind of lost that, like, what neighborhood are you from? So one of the things that we've been talking about is there are about 7 or 9 neighborhoods in Easton, and we're hoping to focus, working with Ed Hands on focusing on maybe April through October, focus on a different neighborhood each month and have a couple walking tours of that neighborhood and maybe wrap up with that neighborhood block party. What neighborhood do you live in?
So I'm in the Furnace Village area. I live over on South Street, and I'm glad you brought this up because one of the beautiful things about something like this is the opportunity for folks to kind of get together within their own neighborhood and also to kind of work with the town on issues as well. So we formed a group called the Furnace Village Neighborhood Collaborative group a few years back when the sewer project was being proposed. And we were prepared to go into the town with pitchforks and torches, because people were concerned about the numbers. And we came into town, we formed initially a group of 25, ultimately expanded to a group of 165 members. And a few of us went in and met with the town officials, Connor and Michael Blanchard and Stephanie Danielson. And they were already there saying, we want to work with you, and had ideas. And we worked very collaboratively with them to arrive at the district improvement financing program to bring the cost down and to help support the town's efforts to get a grant, which it did get to help bring that cost down. But the long and the short of it is we brought the folks who live in Gaslight and Lamplighter and the single family homes and the business owners and the business community together, working collaboratively, and we've kept that group together. So I'm very much looking forward to having a block party in our area, and would love to help support the efforts for the different neighborhoods in town to have their own block party, because there's something about that cohesiveness of your own neighborhood. We get so busy with all of our other activities, organized sports and so forth, and sometimes you forget to check on your neighbor next door.
Absolutely.
So I think this is a wonderful opportunity to do that.
And one of the things Ed and I have been discussing as well is that real tight-knit neighborhood community that you're talking about, but also publicizing this so that a different neighborhood can come do the walking tour of the Furnace Village neighborhood to get to know the other neighborhoods as well. Attend the Furnace Village block party, not just for your neighbors, but we are also all Easton. Get to know all of the 7 to 9 neighborhoods. As long as
they bring some extra food.
Well,
right?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, the
It's
food,
a great way
the food
to,
in Eastondale is so different from the food over there in Furnace Village.
It's a great way to bring the community together, no doubt about it. I'd like to shout out a thank you to Diane Lasati, our secretary of this committee. I'd also like to thank Jeanette Camara, our treasurer, and of course, Ken Michael, who handles the business part of our celebration committee.
Don't forget Roz.
And of course, Roz is the assistant secretary.
And we have an opening on our committee.
Yeah, we still do. And if you're interested in being on the committee, you might want to contact the selectman's office.
Yes, Steve.
And they'll give you the appropriate
I knew that was coming.
forms to
I knew it.
fill
I just
out.
felt it.
You know me.
But Steve, anything else you'd like to say? Some final comments about the VFW or about?
Well, we just want everybody to realize that it's not an exclusive club. It's for everybody to come and enjoy. You can come down there and eat any time that we're open. There's always that old stigma, you had to be a veteran to even walk in the place, and that's still out there. But Hasn't been that way for such a long, long time now.
That's all I needed to hear. I'll be there.
Right?
And the food's good, the prices are right.
That's right.
You know, and talking about neighborhoods, it's more of a neighborhood place when you get in there. It's like every other place. It's like a neighborhood place when you get in there.
It is.
So yeah, it is. It
Ample
really is.
parking and a
there's
good
plenty of parking. Yeah.
Yep.
It's not like Frothingham Hall where you can't find a parking. You can't park in the middle of the day. You circle around trying to find. But there's plenty of parking there. There's plenty of room, and you'll see it when we have the open house.
Yes,
there.
you will.
You'll see it.
When
That
you
means I have to go to
come
work
that
and get
open
everything
house,
fixed before you get there. So, but
Do you
yeah.
have any final comment that you'd like to make before we close our show today?
I've never been said to be a man of few words, but in this case, I think I've said enough already. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate your participation.
Yeah.
And how about you, Michelle? Any final thing you'd like to say before we do a closing?
No, I would just say www.easton300.org.
Why don't you mention that again?
www.easton, and it's 300.org. You can email us at easton300@outlook.com. So those are the important things, I think. We do have a website. It's a good one. That's where you can find the logo contest information, the open house information. You can also sign up for our newsletter there.
And of course, the committee meets on the fourth Tuesday of each month. And we'll be doing this meeting up through 2025. That's going to wrap it up for our show today. I'm Dave Clifton.
Michelle McGee.
On behalf of Michelle,
and our
we'd like to thank our guest, Dale Kerester, and of course, Steve Shaw.
And Kim
from
Pincus.
the VFW, and Kim, who runs the show here at ECAT. As a matter of fact, this TV production called Easton 300 is a production of ECAT, Easton Community Access Television. We say to the folks out there watching, we need volunteers. We need to recruit more donations to go towards this giant celebration. I say go forth to serve, do it with a smile on your face. And if you want to do something good to help someone out as they plan and prepare for 2025, do it with the dignity that it deserves. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back again next month.